Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this, my main channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate pre-show and after-show goodness. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the discussion or watch live, there is a link to my second channel where this show will be broadcasting in about half an hour's time, so click the link to Nathan Oakley channel if you'd like to watch live or participate in the show. Now, I've currently got quite a few people, surprisingly so, for a pre-show in the Hangout, so I'll transfer across to them, raise the mic, and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for the first live show.
900 modified, and then I'm going to go up to Scotland, and I'm going to be doing some filming from up there.
Do you know what you could do, Ramsey?
What?
To climb. What was the mountain that you climbed? Was it Ben Nevis or?
Yeah, I don't fancy climbing that again.
Ben Nevis.
Right. I was going to say climb one of the mountains, and then, or maybe see how far away you could get from Ben Nevis, and then see how far it would have to be before it would drop behind the curve of the Earth, and then so do it backwards. In other words, you should not see Ben Nevis from here because of the curve of the Earth, and then I can go to here and I can see Ben Nevis, so the Earth can't be curved. In fact, actually, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Well, I've got that Ben Nevis video on my channel.
It's just over 4,000 feet, right, above sea level. And how high is this mountain that this dude's caught?
What, from his observer height?
Yeah.
I think it's, just bear with me, it's 2,669 meters.
So you can, I would guess then that you're going to be talking 150 miles away.
132 miles.
No, to not see Ben Nevis at 4,000 feet.
Guys, I had this idea a long time ago, and what do you think? I think I'm not the first one who actually thought about this. What if we created a website or whatever with a open Bitcoin wallet or whatever, and ask everyone, every flat earther for $10 or $5, whatever, to donate and actually set up a live feed, rent a plane or a boat and just go in a straight line and just prove to ourselves that we're gonna be approached at some point by someone, and then just show to people, here you go, you can't go there. Is that a possibility or that just a dream?
Say that again.
Well, the point is that, we all have very limited resources, and what if we all, I think there's at least 1 million flat earthers out there. If we all donated at least $1, we have $1 million, let's just say, and, we would have a bit of resources to actually, make an expedition.
From my experience, trying to get flat earthers to cooperate is like herding cats,
Yeah, but from my point of view, if you don't try, you fail by default.
Well, you can try.
I was just going to say, you could be that man. If you start it, I'll be your first dollar.
Yeah, I'm sort of very getting into IT and web design and stuff, so just full of ideas and just thinking what sort of proof these globers and these science make-believe people, what infallible proof they would need to actually, okay, that's something we cannot explain or deny, or it's there. Here you go.
But we have that already. We have this argument quite frequently, so for that reason I have these images which seem fairly benign as they're scrolling by, nice tranquil images, but they've all got very specific things to debate about. If you take this one, you've got the diffraction limit evident at the bottom edge of the sun where it's inverted, and it gets more pronounced as these pictures go on. But the ones that we've got of Mackalled Lighthouse, they are a cast iron 100% stone cold flat earth proof, and the reason's simple, it's a picture of a lighthouse. Now, as a flat earther, that's the end of our explanation for that picture. It's a concrete noun. It's like me holding up my mouse or keyboard. I can just say keyboard, mouse, lighthouse, as a flat earther, because there it is in a picture and we see it, and it's there, concrete noun, we see it, no explanations required for a concrete noun, on the assumption that the earth is evidently flat, nothing's obscuring the view, right? Now, for them, they have to formulate logical fallacy, assume they've got a radius of the earth, and then start explaining from there why we do see something we shouldn't see. So in terms of an observation that proves the earth is flat, there's the 10 a penny. This is another one. So this island behind these wind turbines, back in the day, the turbines were really difficult to explain because we didn't have a really firm grasp of perspective and how to explain what the turbines are doing, which is where the globe head's focused. But the island behind it is the Isle of Man at about 65 miles. So it shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be able to see it. Now, for me, as a flat earther, obviously and observably flat. Yeah, we can see it because it's a clear enough day to see it. And that's the end of the explanation. It doesn't even need me to say it's a clear enough day. That's self-evident in the picture. So literally, all I need to say as a flat earther is Isle of Man. And that's the end of my explanation. Earth is, obviously and observably, as you can see, flat.
But that's the other problem, that people refuse to believe the reality on what they see with their eyes. I'm just thinking sort of to try maybe approach it from different angle, that's all.
Sure, but that's what a globe head must do, and we don't need to as flat earthers, which is our biggest win. So where they say you don't believe the evidence of your own eyes when you see the Isle of Man, well, they must insist on us doing that, because they need to turn that into a phenomena, i.e. looming above the Earth curve. That's what they must do. But I can just say Isle of Man, full stop, end of explanation. Same with this picture. Behind the boat, now this is a full frame of what is zoomed into on the next picture, is Barrow-in-Furness at about 18 miles away. And the boat and Barrow are both lined up perfectly. There's no curve. The boat's not lifted up. It's not risen because of Earth curve. It is obviously and observably flat, as per the picture. Everything between you and Barrow is on a flat, level plane surface. That is observably obvious. And to assert that anything other than that is occurring requires a predetermined belief, and you to assert, as you pointed out, that what we see isn't really what we get. And I don't need to do that as a flat earther. Just say, there you go, there's a picture of, in this case, the sun at the diffraction limit. Why is it above the sea? Well, because that isn't where your vision ends. Your vision ends at the diffraction limit of whatever you're looking through, whatever lens. And in this case, the sun is much, much further away. Now, it's hard to argue that as a physical entity these days, because we don't know what the hell it is. But it doesn't change the fact that there it is on the diffraction limit, evidently so. So, for me, flat Earth
I do apologize,
are
Nathan, for my ignorance of this lack of knowledge, because I've studied flat Earth for about 8 weeks and I just gave it up. You know, I proved it to myself and I just sort of left it away. So most of these, you know, fractions, diffractions, fatas, morganas, whatever, I'm not that sort of experienced in that. So I just wanted to say that.
I'll be honest, me too. For the longest part of most of this time, I had exactly the same attitude. Once it was self-evident to me, I thought, I don't need to know the calculator. I told Anthony the other day that until he introduced me to the curve calculator with a story about Rizzler or someone else who insisted on using a refracted hidden value, until that was mentioned to me by Anthony, I had no idea what it was and didn't have a care in the world about it. I knew the Earth was flat. That was self-evident. Beyond that, I didn't care about the arguments put forth fallaciously for the globe. Who cares? If you want to believe that, go ahead. But then, as time progressed, I thought, well, no, people are challenging me and coming up with these things that appear to be a globe proof. And hence the debate, you know. Now I've sharpened up all those arguments so that when you do end up in discussion, you can quickly kind of sigh relief or breathe easy on account of the fact that you hear it almost instantaneously now, or at least I do, and probably a lot of the panel do. You hear these, the reasonings behind people's belief in a globe, and you kind of just roll your eyes and go, yeah, that's a begging the question fallacy. Yeah, that's an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. Yeah, that's a burden of proof reversal. You know, you hear them and you just go, yeah, whatever. If that proves it to you, go in peace. Good for you. So I don't blame you, to be honest. All of this stuff's unnecessary. We're just picking apart their fallacious reasoning. We don't need to know about diffraction limits. It doesn't affect my life to know how the diffraction limit works in the slightest. All it does is give me the capability of illustrating to an audience that what they've done is they've taken things like the diffraction limit and perspective in general and called it curvature. But you've got to understand how the fallacy works in the first instance, and for that I'm eternally grateful to people like Anthony who insist on begging the question despite my fury at not doing it.
Is that your share screen, Nathan?
This is, yeah, so these are Ranty's wind turbines. One of the, if not the first sort of realization for us as a team about how they'd hijack perspective. So we'd been analysing turbines that looked like they're falling around the curve of the Earth, and then when you look at them in side profile from a similar distance, 90 degrees adjacent to the previous observation, they're all lined up perfectly on a flat plane, as you'd expect. The Earth's flat, obviously, observably again.
How far they are from the perspective where the picture or this video was taken? How far
I think
they
this
are
is about 10 or 11 miles, and then we've got
so they still should be behind the so-called curvature, shouldn't they?
It's not that, it's more the fact that when you see them end on, so if you imagine looking at this 90 degrees adjacent to where you're looking now, the picture when you look down the line of them looks like they're falling around the curve of the Earth. All that's actually happening is they're getting further away with perspective. Now you can see this to a certain degree on this picture because some of them are further behind. That's why you've got several different coloured lines.
Yeah. They looks like, you know, they're not sort of in one straight line. They're like more in a zigzag.
But Ranty also captured a picture of just one of these lines, but from 90 degrees adjacent, which is how they give us an orthographic misrepresentation. So they would say that it's curving, right? Because that's what you see in a picture when you see it lengthways looking down the line of these turbines, a bit like this. So the last row, you can kind of see that effect of them looking like they're getting further and further around a curve. No, they're getting smaller and smaller with perspective.
Oh, I can. I'm a fan of the movies. I just recently watched. Maybe some of you seen Aquaman, and the flat Earth was mentioned in there as well.
Oh, really? What was the mention?
Let me read you the quote because I really love movies. I've have like 4 or 5 deconstructed, you know, frame by frame and stuff like this. Let me just find it for you. So yeah, it was 45 minutes 30 seconds into the movie, and the one guy was explaining to the Aquaman the history of Atlantis, and he said, before the fall of Atlantis, we unlocked the secret of unlimited energy when the rest of the world thought the Earth is flat. They just threw it out there.
Awesome. Yeah, it's slowly being... It's a slow simmer, isn't it? They're slowly raising the temperature and the general public consciousness of the observable fact that the Earth is flat. And they've got to let it permeate into the culture. If they just dropped it on them in the mainstream news, they'd get the kind of pushback that we get as flat earthers from globe heads. So, you know, there's no way the mainstream people in charge basically could ever afford to have that happen. Why not just let it slowly permeate into the culture? And that's, you know, that's where we come in basically, isn't it?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I've studied nearly over 20 years of occult topics, whatever, you know, secret societies, Hollywood. So I know these Hollywood people, these Masons and stuff. I know how they operate. So basically the part of the ritual, because this whole life and whatever is just one huge sacrificial ritual, and one of the main points of them is you have to let your victim know what's gonna happen to you. But so that's how they do it. They do it in the songs, they do it in the movies, in images, and if you're intelligent enough to recognize them, you will know the truth. So that's sort of the whole point. That's why they do this. That's why, you know, there's like Red Hot Chili Peppers, that song, you know, about that space is a final frontier, but it's made in Hollywood basement. I just could carry on for hours giving references from movies and stuff.
Yeah, a more pertinent one at the moment that we've been covering is the reification fallacy itself. So they teach you at school about the Copernican model, the heliocentric model, and they wear it on their sleeves, man. The intellectuals out there know that the Earth isn't a sphere, in the respect that they understand implicitly that that would be a reification fallacy. It's just a model to explain something that we observe. And models aren't scientific, they're not proof, they're just models. Sometimes they're useful. But that doesn't mean we live on a model. That's a reification fallacy. But the jokers that teach us this crap as real are the ones who also simultaneously make it quite clear that it's a model.
Nathan, tell Ranty about the story that you told me before. You know that video that I told you about that you'd already done a video about? Nathan.
Go on.
You there? Ranty, can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
What's Nathan doing?
Only just. Are you about 1,000,000 miles from your mic?
Oh, yeah, I am a little bit. Can you turn me up a little bit?
What, are you on your couch?
Yeah.
Really? You're permanently in that spot because I don't want to adjust you and then you get up and sit in front of the mic.
I'll stay. I've got the dog sat on my chest, you see.
Go on then, give us a sound check.
Okay, so do you want to tell Ranty what happened with me and you with regards to that the video on reification?
I don't actually know what you're talking about.
Okay, the little video that you released about reification of that bloke talking.
Oh, right. So, yeah, Anthony sent me a Skype message in the beginning of the morning that said something like, I've got a great example of reification, or words to that effect, or I've got a great example of a fallacy. And I then got on with my day, and one of the things I happened across was the Creaky Binders video about me. So I watched the first 2 minutes of it, and when I got to the point where he said, let's just quote him correctly.
You
the
said
heliocentric model is a real thing. As soon as he said that, I paused the video, went to clip converter, snipped out that 10 seconds, and immediately made a video. I was like, timing, beautiful, just the perfect words. You know what I mean? It couldn't have been better. He couldn't have said it. He couldn't have reified that model better in his words, in his phraseology. So I was like, snip, snip, snip. So then I put the video up, went to the Christmas party, or even published it while I was at the Christmas party yesterday. Came home, and then much later in the evening went through my messages, and Anthony had said, and then posted that video and said, go to 2 minutes because blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Great minds. So this morning I explained that to him. I was like, I don't know what we were talking about. Something else completely. But I said, oh, by the way, you hadn't actually sent me the video about the reification fallacy that guy had made. I'd just made the video anyway and then came to your message where you pointed out the same as that video. I just thought that was quite cute.
Yeah, the irony that we both spotted it at the same time.
Exactly. Well, you spotted it before me because the message that preceded it before I made the video was words to the effect of, I've spotted a really good fallacy, which indicates that you'd already watched the video long before I had.
Yeah. And the other one that I told you about was also, what was the other one that you did?
Well, no, you didn't send me the clip directly. That was Red's Rhetoric, so you just sent me the clip. Well, you didn't send me the clip, you sent me the timestamp, and I went straight to it and immediately just snipped that out as well. But I don't, I don't watch either of them. You know, the paper, whatever it's called, Creaky Binder was on suggested in my homepage.
Well, the Red's Rhetoric now cannot use the mute button argument against Nathan.
Yes, now priceless.
So then, David, go on, Reds, you're going to have to get your ass in here because you use it too. And we only use it to stop points from being obfuscated so that they get closed, right? He uses it so he can be heard.
Yeah, some commenter was like, you use the mute button too. This is called projection like Zinder. I think it was Nick. I was like, very good, Nick. Glad you agree. Yeah, that's exactly it. When they were criticising me for using a mute button, when I was basically taking control of total chaos with Rumpus talking non-stop, they simultaneously were doing exactly the same thing, and that's what people do. They project their own digressions onto you. Oh, I don't want to join because you've got a mute button. Actually meaning, I want to be the one in control of the mute button because then I can shut you up when you have a devastating point.
Correct. I'll tell you what's interesting. Zinder.
Why?
What the fuck's going on with Zinder?
There's nothing wrong with him. He's a normal human being dealing with his own battles, and yeah, he's spewing and projecting all over me while he does it. But I don't give a shit. People do that all the time. So while I might make a big song and dance of it, so he actually understands the point. More importantly, the audience understands what's going on. It doesn't make me have any less empathy for the guy. He's coming to this from a position of denial now. So he's in 5 stages of loss. He's recognised what the awfulness of his reality, right? So now he wants to go back. He immediately wants to deny. He wants to go and take the blue pill. Tough luck, Cinder. We took that red pill and we shoved it down your throat, and you can't unswallow it. Never mind, Cinder.
I find it interesting that he has to attack us because he's real. I agree. He must realise that this is nonsense, right? But he's decided that rather than, I think what's happened is he's suggested that he might be on the flat side a little bit, and then the ballers have got to him, so they've levelled him back down on the normal ground again, right? But to show them that he's like back on their side, he has to attack us. He was devastated.
It doesn't mean he doesn't realise the truth. Some of the people that we deal with, I genuinely think, don't actually recognise the truth, don't understand, and it's more than just denial. That's why I call them zealots. They are actually religious zealots. So their belief is unfounded and unshaken. That's the one, and it won't ever be changed. Whereas someone like Zinder, he's recognised it logically. He's come to his conclusion. Now he doesn't want that. Of course, he wants it. I've said this the other week with Jaren, right? Jaren, when he's talking about it's like, who wants to be a flat earther? Who wants to be ridiculed? Who wants to be hated? Who wants to be told they're wrong all the time by people who don't understand? And yeah, I can recognise that point of view. I just go, wow, what a wonderful world we live in. We haven't got the vaguest idea what it is. Lots of things are up for grabs now. Lots of things could be investigated where we thought we had answers. That's so cool. That's so exciting. But, that's different end of the scales. For someone like Zinder, he's immediately gone, I don't want to be ridiculed. I don't want to be hated just for realising something that's obviously a lie, and then be persecuted for pointing out that there's a lie in place. No one wants that, right, Zinder? No, well, tough luck. When you were ridiculing us, it weren't so much fun, right? Oh, it was much more fun, I should say.
Listen, on a different note for a minute, the drain in the swamp comment from Trump.
I don't watch the news. I've no idea what you're talking about.
You've never heard the saying "drain the swamp."
I think the last time I heard Trump talk was a line in Home Alone 2.
He was known for making the line "draining the swamp" to get himself into power, right? He's had 63,000 sealed indictments sent to different people. 63,000 people. That are all to do with government in America, and they're all on the Hillary Clinton side. 63,000 of them, right? Congress is not in session. Congress has had to shut down. The American government is shutting down. Troops are returning back to America from all overseas, all over different places. Troops are coming back to America, and people in the military are resigning to take on new roles in military tribunals in Guantanamo Bay. There's going to be a lot of people getting fucking fucked here, and the biggest one's going to be Hillary Clinton. Do you remember what? You might not remember him saying, but he said that she's going to end up in jail. That's what he's going to do. He's putting her in jail, and it's happening right now. 63,000 sealed indictments have been delivered to 63,000 different people on different charges. All American candidates in the electoral system, in the government system. And a lot of them are on Hillary Clinton's side. They're all fucked. And it's happening right now. Congress is shut. If you look on the news now, it'll tell you that Congress is shut. The government is basically not in for business at the minute.
5 minutes, approximately. We're starting.
I heard that it's not only the indictments are not only sent to U.S. Officials, but also international.
Yeah, there's English people involved in it as well.
Yeah, a couple of Dutch guys, I heard.
there's English people at the highest of levels to do with Theresa May. I don't know whether Theresa May is directly involved, but there's the English consulate on American soil. They're directly involved, and there's direct communications to and from our government that are directly involved with a lot of stuff that I'm not even sure what to explain. But all I'm saying is that there's a shitload happening, and it's happening right now.
Yeah, I've heard the same.
Okie dokie.
So BBC, Nathan.
You what?
BBC. They put an article up last night. US shutdown looks set to drag through Christmas. Now they're blaming the shutdown. A partial US government shutdown is set to continue through Christmas, with no deal in sight to break the impasse over budget spending. So basically, what they're saying is that they're in a state of economic crisis. But actually, what the position is they're fucked from a different perspective. But they're not releasing this perspective to the public. So they're blaming it on economic duress. But actually, it's because half of them are going to end up in jail.
Guys, can I read you a very quick quote from one book?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Manly Palmer Hall, The Secret Teachings of All Agents, Pythagorean Astronomy. According to Pythagoras, the position of each body in the universe was determined by the essential dignity of that body. The popular concept of his day was that the Earth occupied the center of the solar system, that the planets, including the sun and moon, moved about the Earth, and that the Earth itself was a flat square.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember I was reading that and I just thought I'll find it and read it out to you guys.
Yeah, so 9 of 15 federal departments, including state, homeland security, transport, agriculture, justice, being partly shut down, began partial shutting down after funding for them lapsed at midnight last night. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees will have to work underpaid or for free, through a temporary kind of leave. This is the third time that it's lapsed. So what's been happening?
That's
It's
handy.
interesting what's
They'll all
going
be
on.
at home for Christmas.
Well, he's blaming it on economics, but I think what's going to happen is by New Year, half these people are going to end up getting arrested.
Yeah, I think you'll see a wave of resignations.
It's not going to stop them going to jail, though.
No, but that's their way of, pulling out and maybe running off. There's been a few here in the Netherlands, officials from the government that have resigned recently, and they're all liberals.
Gravity.
50 million to 1, 50 million to 1. They don't like that number, do they? 50 million to 1.
Right.
I mean,
Hey, thank you. It was a really good show. I agree with you. It was one of the best shows. Two people got exposed. Piche, as the piece of human being he is, he always with his delusions. I didn't want to spend the whole show talking about this shit, but he brought it up, right? And
yeah.
then Zinder being exposed like that, like really, you're gonna play like that, just trust, gain your trust, and then just go everywhere and say like, I don't believe these assholes, they're actors or whatever. It's bullshit, man. You guys dealt it well with it.
Well, you know what? Yesterday's show.
The day before yesterday, yeah.
The day before yesterday, yeah. Yeah, Zinder's conflicted, and Pete Shea's just off his head. You're not a proper flat earther unless Pete Shea's accused you of being an agent.
Yeah.
Has he accused you?
Oh yeah, many times, big time. He said like, I hope you're honest, Jose. I don't know, man. I still struggling to see if you're honest or not. I said, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So if you back the question and use the hijacking perspective hijacking calculator, how much obstruction should be in, how much curvature should be in a 27 miles distance? Let's say a 6 foot high observation.
27 miles, what, 400 feet?
Yeah, about 400 feet, right?
353, about 350 yards, say.
You know what? I was thinking like, should I answer yes the question on any sign of curvature? Because I think I got some, not evidence of curvature, but the obstruction change with the height of the observer. I got a 27-mile observation to a bridge, and I got pictures. I went 2 foot above the water, then I stood with my tripod 6 foot above the water. Then I went a little up the hill to 12 foot, and then I went a little higher to 20 foot. I got the 4 different observations, and I got 4 different amount of obstruction in that bridge.
Yeah. It's about to start.
Yeah, the bridge
What's
is
up,
like
guys?
450 foot tall.
Jose, what did you do with your picture?
Hey, like my avatar, yeah.
Are you an Etin?
Yeah, right. I did this yesterday. It's cool.
That's really hilarious, man.
Thank you.
Did a pretty good Photoshop job, really.
Yeah, I found this little app yesterday. It's smooth, man. I can smooth the edges and change the colors to match them. It's really sweet.
Who's
For my
Dutch
phone.
hardcore tunes?
Yeah, for my phone, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Who's this Dutch hardcore tunes guy in chat?
I don't know. There are a few guys over here, but they're from the big chat on Skype on the Iron Realm, chat that we went the other day.
Okay. Hello, guys. Hello.
Everybody went away for a minute before the show starts, probably.
All right.
Hello. You right, Arwin?
Hey. Yeah, doing good.
Your subscribers have gone up.
Yeah, they have. And they seem to have stayed this time.
Cool. Guess what? I finally got monetized.
Oh, really? Congratulations.
Yeah, last night. So I was quite shocked, actually.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this, my second channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the live Flat Earth Debate. If you're watching this on my main channel, which is Nathan Oakley 1980, then hit the information box to find a link to my second channel, this one that we're watching on live. If you are watching live, that's called Nathan Oakley, if you'd like to participate in the live debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you would like to actually join the discussion right now, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the live Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Ranty Flat Earth, Ether, Jose, Mike, and Arwin. Good to have you all.
G'day, g'day.
Good afternoon.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yes, it's almost Christmas. Very
It's a
exciting.
reification fallacy.
Hey, hold your horses. Any signs of curvature?
Hold your reindeer, you mean?
No signs of curvature. Everything's,
No, as for right now.
No Christmas curve on the horizon?
everything's flat, Nathan. Everything's flat.
Any signs
Every
of axial?
obstruction is, if every obstruction is curvature, then I cut some obstruction. I might present it later. I still gotta take some screenshots of the video, and I might present it later. You tell me what you think.
Excellent. Sounds exciting, Jose. Any signs of that axial rotation that Santa would need to get quickly around the globe-shaped Earth that they presuppose? Any signs of axial rotation?
No.
No.
No. Stationary.
Any evidence that there's a possibility, even the remotest of possibilities, that you can have a gas pressure without a container for all those people who believe in the vacuum of space?
No.
But Nathan, we have a gradient that goes up as we gain elevation. Explain that.
Yes, that's lovely, Anthony. A gas pressure gradient. So I'll ask again. Any evidence of a gas pressure being maintained without a container?
But we have a gradient, Nathan. Answer my gradient question, you shill.
Yeah, but the gradient actually expands at a cumulative rate. So there's no suggestion there will ever be a vacuum at any point.
I don't want to explain why there's a gas pressure. I want you to explain why there's a gradient.
Well, it doesn't address the question. The gas pressure
Because of gravity.
gradient still requires a container. So is there any evidence that we can have said gas pressure without the container? That's what would
But
be
we have a
needed.
gradient. A gradient's a gradient.
Shut up, Bobby.
Gravity.
Defies logic.
It's gravity.
Excellent, Arwin. Nicely moved on.
Gravity.
Excellent segue. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the gradient. The pressure gradient.
The gradient.
Yeah. It is gravity, right?
Dunno.
So,
Anything
so
more
I'll-
than a religious assertion. Preferably scientific evidence would be nice. It's Christmas after all.
So I released a video yesterday, right? And they don't like that 50 million bit. I know John said to me, Quantum Eraser, he said, stop begging the question. You're confusing it. You're muddying the waters. And he's right. And Nathan's right. I shouldn't do it. But I can't help myself. I like begging the question with them to see where it goes. And when you do a little bit of research and you do a little bit of homework and you find out, you find out some of the minutiae of their arguments, and you realise the value of the gravitational fit claim that they have, this force, is quantified by Cavendish himself to be, quote, not greater than 50 million, 1/50 millionth of the object's weight, then that 50 millionth is supposed to be the cause of all the oceans sticking to the surface of the Earth. So you have to ask yourself the question, is there any evidence anywhere where somebody can apply a 50 millionth of force against an object, against an object's weight, and make it do anything? I mean, it's such a minuscule amount of pressure, force, that you would never feel it, right? If it was on your skin, you wouldn't feel it, and that's supposed to be the cause of the oceans of the Earth sticking to the outside of the ball.
No, but you misunderstand. It's the accumulation of all matter having that very slight pull becoming so strong that you do feel the gravity.
No, it's quantified to be a 50 millionth of the object's weight. So if the ocean's got a weight and it's 50 millionth of it, that's the force of gravity, and that's what's holding it on.
Yeah.
So the
you're
question-
all
No,
assuming
it's
the
the
force.
entire ball Earth.
Yeah, you're just
What's the-
arguing
what's
about
the
who's
weight
begging
of
the
it?
question correctly. This is nonsense. Let's move on. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Any evidence of the
Distance to
Christmas
the sun.
lights rolling around us?
I think Travis might be masticating. I'm going to mute him.
I was typing.
Oh, right. It sounded like you were masticating.
Are you chewing something while you're typing?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah,
any
Anthony,
evidence
by
of
the way, you're
distance to the...
talking through your bad mic. I don't know why, but
Oh, I'm sat on the sofa with my dog sat on my chest, and I can't really move without him screaming.
okay.
Hey, Chocolate. Let's see
Hey,
if we can get an answer out of Chocolate. Any evidence of the distance to the sun, Chocolate?
Nah, there's nothing of that. Not over here. I don't know, maybe Arwen got some.
Praise Helios. We can move on. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
No?
Maybe.
Oh,
Nobody?
hell no.
No.
No?
I think
Okay.
that even within the presupposition itself, there is no evidence for it.
Well, what about that said presupposition? So, any evidence of the R value, Earth radius, gentlemen?
Nope.
They'll prove it one day.
We
You
need
reckon?
to find curvature before we find a radius.
Think they'll prove
It's
a molten
easier
iron
to
core before they
disprove
prove
it.
radius, Arwin?
Yeah, but for now they have to hold on to that obstruction being curvature. But I think they are pretty confident that one day they will confirm our.
That's what it's all about. Confidence. Right, that
think
concludes
it's
the housekeeping. Thank you very much. Wow, have we got a full panel? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we've got a full panel. 10 people.
Wow.
Morning, guys.
What's up, Chocolate?
Say good morning, good morning.
Good morning to you too,
Everybody.
sir. Was there an early bird show today?
Yep.
How'd it go?
Great. Hold on, I'm chewing on my breakfast, so.
Arwen's masticating.
So, Jose and Ranty have both got stuff to present. You were first to mention it, Jose. Do you want to go first?
Yes. Let me upload a few pictures in Skype. I'm gonna upload it in Master B chat. So if anybody can do me the favor and present them, I'm gonna
Who wants the
present three
honours?
pictures first, which is gonna show the location I was standing with the coordinates in. I'm gonna then the location, then the structure I was looking at with the coordinates, and then a control image that I found in Google of that bridge, how it looks. So let me go ahead and jump to Skype and upload those three right now. And then I will upload a few screenshots of videos that I found. All right, I got this picture, this, and this right here. And then I'm going to upload a few pictures of my observation with the P900, which shows different amount of obstruction as I change my height. So yeah, it was very interesting to me to look at those. And yeah, it might be easily explained, but I'm still struggling thinking about I'm missing a lot in the bottom of the picture. So all right, I've uploaded the three pictures first. Somebody want to do a quick present on those?
Anybody want to volunteer?
Really,
Don't
please?
all rush.
I wish I could, but I can't.
Do I have to do it again?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yes, I win. You
Yay,
did.
Arwen, yay.
Well
You
volunteered.
mobile
Thank you,
junkies.
Arwin. You're a superstar.
Computer.
All
Right.
right, let's see what we got.
Yeah.
And I'll start uploading the next ones.
Okay, presenting.
Okay, let's see what you got here. Okay, this is the structure I was looking at, and you see in the bottom section is a 27 miles exactly distance that I'm looking at. So it's a pretty far away distance, big time. And you change to the next picture that's where I was standing, so kind of a little park. I decided to choose that screenshot because it shows the coordinates, so you can key it in and you can find on maps what what there was. And then and then if you present the other one, is a Google image on what the structure I'm looking at is. which is a tall bridge, 400 plus foot tall. I think it has like 150, 125, 100 to 150 clearance underneath. So the big boats, big cargo ships can go underneath it, as you can see in the picture.
That is a clearly curved bridge, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a curved bridge. But what I'm interested in looking is the above the clearance on the bridge of the actual street that cars go by, the triangle shape, you know, with the wires, like the long pole and the wires. And that is what I got with my next images that I just uploaded. I put numbers on the image. You're gonna see a 2, 6, 20. All right, that's a 20-foot high observer height that I was. And you can see the bridge, the top of the two sides of the bridge. You can see some little structures. That's a 6-foot high observation, and you can see the difference on what you can see, the difference. And scroll to the side, I get a 2-foot observer height and a 12-foot. Look at that 2-foot, so you can see just the tippy top of the side of the bridge, and then 12
Jose, why did you do this? You just proved curvature, man.
right? No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what I got. I'm honest enough to present it. I said, like, this is very interesting because I didn't know I'm gonna have such a big difference on obstruction as just a little bit of difference on height. And I got the video of all this, me setting up the tripod to 2 feet, and then, you know, raising it up and putting it to 6 feet. So I took screenshots of those, and then I got videos on the other ones, 12 foot to 20.
In all seriousness, for a moment, it's remarkable footage, and I'm specifically interested in the position of the optical slant that I'm seeing in relation to the observer height. Look at this.
Exactly.
Look how close that water is, and then scale that in relation to those
Jose,
ends.
Jose,
So
was this
close by? And
Jose?
here,
Was the tide coming in?
further, a lot further. It's all the way over here.
Jose, was the tide coming in?
The tide was the lowest. It just started to come in. Yeah, it was like 12:30 p.m. I can go back and check on the website. I mean, I can check on when I took the video on the time, and I can check on the tide. But the tide was at the lowest because I could walk further in the sand than I usually can. So I was able to get really low on the water, you know.
Yeah.
So what we need to do, Jose, is do the observation 2 or 3 times and see do you get the same results each time. Because if this is the curve of the Earth, you should get it regularly.
Talking about if this is the curve of the Earth, if we go to a perspective hijacking begging the question proof of nothing curve calculator and input this quote unquote obstruction into that calculator and then see whether or not it says that when we exclude all aspects of the angular relationships between him, i.e. Jose, at his viewer position, and this at the location he's viewing, and the deck, which you're going to ask him to go and replicate at a lower position, i.e. where the tide's lower, if he'll get the same effect, well, no. He'll increase his viewing angle to the bottom of whatever he's currently got obscured. But when Owen jested and said, oh, you've just proved Earth curve, no, we're no longer shy of these optical effects, formerly known as curvature, formerly known as the optical slant. What you are seeing is the diffraction limit and the wave obscuring stuff in the near foreground. All of this can be explained with perspective very easily. There is no curve in this picture. There's the assertion of curve with the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator, which we have taken a giant dump on. Now, does that mean that someone like Conspiracy Cats can be as disingenuous as he is and take this and say, look guys, curve? Well, go ahead. If you want to reify your model and tell people that this mathematically shows Earth curve, then you are number 1, deluded, and number 2, a religious zealot. You're just looking for confirmation bias of your religious belief. We, on the other hand, can look at this and assess what's actually occurring as he lowers his elevation. He's decreasing the angle of view to the thing in the far distance, while simultaneously have waves rising up to block the midpoint of his camera, causing an quote-unquote obstruction. Sod all to do with Earth curve when you beg the question and ignore perspective.
Yeah, and one other thing that we need to evaluate as well is the topography of the seabed. So if the tide's coming in and you've got that water coming in, sometimes you get a tidal bore, rip tides, all these kind of things, they affect obviously water is flat. We know water's flat, but still you can have uneven parts of the flatness with this effect, you know, so you've got the tidal bore, things like this, it does artificially increase the height of the water as well. All things that we need to look into.
I'm just astounded because I'm looking for that optical slant point, and I'm just seeing the line of the waves, the apparent horizon line, and just look at the structure that tells you, that structure tells you where it is, how close by it is. And if you look at these lower observation heights that are basically the same kind of zoom and everything, you just see how incredibly close by the optical slant, which is in this case this wave here, is. It's so close by. It's incredible.
Do you know what we can do?
I just really wanted to present it because it was really interesting for me to see. When to my viewfinder, I said, I saw my TV. I said, like, oh crap, you know, let me just present this on the Nathan show. See what we can make out of this because it's interesting. Yeah.
Well, is it the first time you've done it, Jose?
The first time I got this because I went maybe 2 weeks ago and it was really hazy. I couldn't even see past 10 miles. That's the day that I think I presented one that with the boat. Not the one really visible that it was really blocked. One a few weeks back, and I could see like it was really hazy and really mirrory, and I couldn't see far enough. This is the clearest day I've been in that one spot.
Well, so, you're gonna have to do it 2 or 3 times to see.
I have to, yes.
Yeah. But what I would say, there's 3 things that are possible here. Right, 1, Earth is curved. 2, for whatever reason, the water's risen up, and 3. The third thing that can cause this is, hang on, let me remember if you go back to the picture that's zoomed in a bit, Arwin.
They're all zoomed in.
That one. Yeah, that one will do. Hold it there.
They're all zoomed in.
Yeah.
It's just different heights.
It's ruling out whether or not there's a mirage. And there's a mirage known as a Fata Brumosa mirage, which is basically the water reflecting above itself.
Mirage is happening right here. You can see it.
I know, but you can also see that there's a band across the horizon that's got like a darker color to the water than the rest of the water. And that indicates there might be a Fata Brumosa mirage, which is the water reflected on top of itself. And
that's further in the distance. Because close by, this one's down. See, this is really close by. There's no mirage.
I was going to say, isn't it visually obvious that the waves that you see rising up to the midpoint of this lens are in the near foreground? Isn't that obvious?
In this one, yes.
I'd say so, yeah.
Right,
even in
so
the
waves in the near foreground
really
are higher than the thing in the background. It's simple.
Yeah, even in the 6 foot, because in a web page I look on all the conditions for fishing. It's for fishing, but it got very detailed conditions, and there were waves up to 6 foot and 7 foot every 1 or 2 hours. You know, like you could have maybe a constant waving of 1.5 to 3 foot constant every few minutes, and then you got this big ass wave coming in every I don't know, so often.
Jose, where was this taken? What country are you in?
Texas, Galveston, Texas.
Just go to the first frame, Arwin. I think the first frame has got his GPS locations, just so it rounds out nicely on this observation. Was there anything else you wanted to add to this, Jose?
No, I just wanted to present it, you know, with the coordinates so everybody can key it in and take a look and, you know, just figure these optical illusions by everybody. That's the whole idea I want to do. Just present everything I catch and come to a solid conclusion on what is going on here.
When did you film
thank you very much, guys. Yeah.
When did you film this?
Hold on, Ranty. Hold on 1 second.
2 days ago.
Hold on,
Sorry?
Ranty. Can you just spin on one photo just so they can get the GPS of where he actually took the picture from?
This was 2 days ago, the day that Pichet and Zinder was here. When I was on my way there, I took a short clip of myself listening to the show and I uploaded in my channel 2 days ago.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks for that. Can you just spin on one photograph, Arwin, just so you can get... That's it. Perfect. This is where it was taken from. Jolly good.
Yeah,
So,
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Ranty.
I'm still going to review the footage and probably upload some later on the actual footage.
Excellent stuff, Jose. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Good shit, Jose.
So, Ranty's done quite a lot of work this morning.
I have.
Right, you're up, Ranty.
Okay, so a few days ago, I found this gentleman here, Nick Havoc is his name. This is his video. I'm going to give him a thumbs up because I actually mirrored this video. and it's been well received. I have to admit. But in the Globie's mind, there's still a few people that have put some videos out saying that this proves the globe. So I'm going to be a glober for this demonstration, and I'm going to present something as a glober would do. Basically, do the same as what Conspiracy Cats did. So
does that mean you're going to lie? Does that mean you're going to misrepresent the ball Earth, the flat Earth position then?
All right, let's not convolute things. Right, at this stage, all Rent is doing is playing devil's advocate. He's going to be our resident globehead for the sake of this example and present this picture. Is it a video or a picture?
Well, this is part of the video. He drives, and from 132 miles away, he sees this mountain. It's called Pikes Peak. Match play a couple of seconds of the video. There we go. This is him showing Pikes Peak from 132 miles away. Right.
Is Pikes Peak the one where they race the cars up?
I have no idea.
I think it is.
I genuinely don't have any idea.
Okay, no worries, sorry.
But this is what Conspiracy Cats did when he was trying to do the Mount Rainier and the St. Helens observation. And you can see this number at the side where it's 327 meters. Now that's his elevation above sea level. So obviously the person that took that image says that he was at 327 meters. So quite correctly, what Conspiracy Cats has done is he's removed 327 meters off the height of Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier, and then worked a triangle out. So he's then been able to work out the angular size of it. But essentially, what he's doing is he's reducing 327 meters off the height of Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier, because that's his observational height. So I agree with that. I agree that's how you should do it. I'm going to show you on Google Earth now where he took this observation from. So it was from Owl Canyon Road, which is here, and he's looking way over here to Pikes Peak, and the distance is 132 miles. So I'm going to do an elevation profile, which is obviously showing you, this is observer height here, which is at 1633 meters. And then as he looks across and he goes across, he comes up to a small mountain range here, to finally he comes right to the top of Pikes Peak. So this is his line of sight, 132 miles. And we now need to take off. So his observational height is 1633 meters. And the top of Pikes Peak is 4,302. So now we need to subtract that to get a triangle. So basically, this is what we're doing. We're going to put let me just sort something out in there. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this line of sight in here. So this is his eye line. So we're going to take off 1633 off 4302. Right. So then we've got a flat plane to work across, and we've got the triangle that we can work out. Let's go to the calculator, and I've already got it up. 4302 minus 1633 equals 2,669 meters. Now, I want Conspiracy Cats to do this video. I want him to apply the same logic as he did on this video, where he says it's not flat, with this observation. This is my challenge to him. Anyway, 2669. So now when we look at the image again, and we come over here. So what we're saying is that, oh, hang on, this one. So now we've got 2,669, was it, Nathan? 2669?
Yes, I think so.
Right. So now we've got a height of 2,669 meters. So we're looking up to 2,669 meters. And let's do the calculator on that, the Earth curve calculator. So this is the Globie, 132 miles. The viewer height, 0, because we've already worked it out to a flat plane now, taken off the observer height. What it basically says is that 3,540 meters should be hidden, right? And if you include refraction, 3,035 meters, right? But we're not going to do refraction because I don't think that's correct. 3,540. So let's put that into this image here. So as this mountain range goes around the curve of the Earth, 3,542 meters of it is hidden or dropped. from his observer height over here. But the mountain is only 2,669 visible. So his line of sight, there should be 800 meters or so below the curvature of the Earth. So this image, all this mountain range here should have gone beyond the curvature of the Earth. I can show you it just on here. This is another way of looking at it. This is the side profile from Google Earth. Let me just put a line in there. So now we've got a triangle. So we've got one line there, and now we've got another line there. And this obviously is 2,669 meters. And yet the curve says 3,542 should be hidden or dropped. As per Conspiracy Cats, the way he did it, exactly the same. But yet I see a mountain there, Nathan. Now, is that a mirage? Has that been loomed up?
So let's just be really clear.
Well,
we're gonna poke the bear here. We're gonna get.
Sorry, you go ahead, Anthony.
We're gonna poke the bear here, and we want all the ballers that are watching secretly, that are lurking, to go and tell Conspiracy Cats to come and do the same arithmetic that he did on the Mount St. Helens video, that he didn't prove the observer location and all that stuff. Come and do the same set of maths the same way he did it. But the difference is this time we can show you where the guy shows where he was when he took his film. So you can be satisfied that he was actually where he says he was. You don't have to trust us. You don't have to trust him. He shows it in his video. You know that thing that you didn't do? So there's no traps in this, Conspiracy Cats, or what we would call failing to provide your basis for your claim. Do the maths. Explain to us how this is possible if we live on a sphere when we can see that the curve should be gone, that mountain should be way gone, and that's not even considering perspective.
And if you look at the image as well.
Have you got anything to add, Ranty, for your devil's advocate position?
I want to go over to an image of the Earth, so to speak, and I want to show that obviously we're not working at sea level. We're working above sea level, but that doesn't make any difference. Here I've just put a random guess as to 132 miles, so it's not to scale either. This is Pikes Peak, obviously here. So I've slapped on 1633 meters, 4302, and it makes no difference. It's still going around the curvature of the Earth. It's not somehow ended up flat. It's still going around the curvature of the Earth. So as per Conspiracy Cats, when he did this, and he took his 327 meters off to give him the angular size, it's exactly the same process.
You didn't get the angular size when he did that.
Sorry?
He wasn't taking the height off to get the angular size. That's not what he was doing. What he was doing was compensating for his elevation.
Okay, well, he's compensated for his elevation. I've compensated for my elevation. I've taken 1633 meters off.
We get it. Hold on. You're doing too good a job of playing devil's advocate, Ranty. Is there anything else you want to present in the fallacious manner that a globehead would have presented this total failure of their model? Is there anything else you want to add? Because if not, I want to point out what Anthony just said and move on before you row as a globehead. We understand you've done it correctly as a globehead would do.
Well, clearly this is refraction that's doing this. Obviously, that's being loomed up.
No, don't need it. Thank you very much. You've done your job. You've done us proud. You don't need to argue their refraction bollocks. Thank you very much, Ranty. But in seriousness, is there anything you want to add? Because I'm going to take you off screen and go to my point. If not,
stop interrupting him. Stop interrupting him.
Oh God, I'm getting hijacked from all sides.
No, this is it. I want Conspiracy Cats to do this video, just as Anthony said. I want him to do this, and Slice Barcane and Red's Rhetoric and all of them. I want them to work on this process exactly as I've done it here, and I want them to formulate the same process as what I've done and come to a conclusion as to why we see this mountain.
Fine. Now, can you go back to the top left tab that you had open? It's got the still of the Conspiracy Cats video inside elevation with his little... Here we go. So, albeit slightly the wrong way around in terms of my graphical representation, which seemed to get a lot of hand wave dismissals. So if I now click to my version of the same thing. So I'll just make this full screen. So in the same way, we've got an observer point. His is on the right, mine's on the left. So I'll just flick between the two. So this is his, there's his observer position, there's his observed whatever mountain. And in this we've got observed position on the left and mountain in the middle, kids, mountain at the far end in the distance. So in other words, these two are comparable other than being one looking from right to left and the other looking from left to right. Would we all agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So the problem with representing things in this way is that it ignores perspective. And I'll show you precisely what I mean by that. Because in this depiction, if you take a tape measure to this in the near foreground relative to the camera, in the way it's misrepresented by globe heads. Sorry, got to put a lot of disclaimers in here. So if you take the feet and inches value of this and compare it to the feet and inches value of this one, as drawn in Conspiracy Flaps' diagram, would appear to be bigger or smaller based on that value. However, when you actually put this into the real view of the real world, we start off with the thing in the background, Soundly's giant head, getting ever smaller with distance because of perspective. In other words, its angular size is actually smaller. This is now the smaller thing in the picture. And the thing in the near foreground, surprisingly, is the bigger thing in the picture. So this, despite the fact that it has a smaller feet and inches value, actually appears bigger than the thing with a bigger feet and inches value. Seems contradictory? Well, no, they've hijacked that fact of life, perspective, and called it Earth curve. This thing's dropped relative to this. That means it's dropped around the Earth curve, says the globe head. No, it's small because it's far away. Its angular size is smaller than the thing that's closer to you. But they would say it's dropped into Earth curve. Utter nonsense. So this misrepresents what they say is a flat plane. We don't see this ever. You cannot observe the side of your own head when making an observation. This is not how you see the world. This is how you see the world. This is reality. This is a globe head zealot's misrepresentation of what they claim the flat Earth is. It's not.
I just also want to say that if you look at the image from Google, when I put the elevation profile in, which is this top image here, that looks awfully like the image at the bottom. This one in the middle is obviously what the curve model should say, which is obviously the mountain is dropped and gone beyond sight, so you don't see it. But when you actually look at this mountain here, and then you look at the side profile of the Google Earth representation, it looks pretty conclusively flat to me.
Yeah, it's obviously and observably flat. This is the problem that globeheads have in the first instance. They have to hijack what we see with our eyes on a day-to-day basis. You're only ever dealing with a flat plane. And so are the engineers, and so are the pilots. We're all dealing with a flat plane, because that's what it is. Flat. You ignore perspective, and say that when things get smaller into the distance they're dropping into Earth curve, then yeah, you can use an assumptive calculator to demand that people point their cameras down, demanding that they're taking their observations whilst looking at a tangent to a curve that we don't see. You can assert all sorts of nonsense with a begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator, and a reification fallacy of a heliocentric model. Doesn't mean we live on a sphere. We don't. The Earth's not curved. It's flat.
Yeah, there's no curve. They've got to manipulate the maths. They've got to make that maths make it look like it's curved.
Yeah, what they've got to do is make this mountain that's dropped by 800 feet around the curve, they've got to make this above and lift it up here. That's what they've got to do by means of refraction.
Or to put it another way, they've got to turn seeing a mountain into a phenomena. That picture's no longer just a picture of Pikes Peak. Now it's a phenomena. Now it's a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena of Pikes Peak. Nah, it's just Pikes Peak, and as a flat earther, we can just say that. There's Pikes Peak. No need for any explanation. It's concrete now, and we just see it because it's there. That's it for a flat earther. We've got the easiest time. Truth's on our side. There it is, plain to see. But what they'll need to do is convince us that we're actually seeing a phenomena. Something that shouldn't really be there because Earth curves obscuring our view. Even though their calculations won't even let us look up at things.
Nathan, do you mind if I change topic?
Well, just one thing.
How dare
when we
you?
ran
No,
this past
flat
Adam,
Earth.
Sorry, just one thing. When we ran this past Adam before, he said it's even worse for the globe, actually. And the reason being that once you put an elevation of 1633 meters on top of the Earth, so obviously like this image over here, we're getting a bigger radius already. So the radius is bigger, and also that mountain is tilting backwards, which is actually going to drop the height of it as well. And it's going to drop it quite considerably, you know. So all in all, it's a fantastic observation. Nick, I'll show you his channel again. Nick Havoc, there's his channel. I suggest everyone go and subscribe to him.
Stop. Click on share, just above where you are now. And it'll say copy. Copy, down the bottom. See where it says copy?
Copy, yeah.
Yeah. Then if you can just go to the Hangout and paste it into the Hangout, and I'll stick it in the chat so that people can actually directly go right here, right now, to his channel and subscribe to him. Which is precisely what I will do now as well. So there you go. There's me subscribing to you. Good job, my man. Let's have a listen to you.
It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Colorado. I mean, it is like super nice today. Just
good to know. Well, hopefully you'll get a few people subscribing to you, my friend. Go and subscribe to this man, people who are in the chat. Thank you very much in advance. There's his link. Spam, spam, spam. Off it goes. Nick Havoc. Thank you very much for your glorious observation, my friend. And thank you for presenting it as a globehead, Ranty.
And Conspiracy Cats cannot debunk that claim, that video. Nor can Red's rhetoric.
Nice poking.
Nor can Slice Barcane. None of them can debunk it.
Right, yeah, Anthony wanted a subject change. Go ahead, Anthony.
Right, Nathan, be ready to present your most recent video about Red's rhetoric, that little clip. Because the reason, what we need to do here is we need to rally up the Flat Earth troops, right? And we need to put pressure on Red's rhetoric, because Red's claims that he does not want to come onto this channel, this debate, to have the conversation with us because Nathan's mute button. However, he was in a hangout recently with Spurs Chemo and a couple of others, and well, Reds was using his mute button in the exact same way that he doesn't like Nathan using it. And what that means is Reds can't now use the mute button argument as the reason for him not coming on the show because he does it himself. So either
your entry where you completed this challenge and
no,
now
the first one.
Hang on, let me mute Flat Out Hero so that he can't interrupt me. In the entry that you put where you completely destroyed the $1,000 challenge. Hang on, let me mute Flat Out Hero so that hang on, let me mute Flat Out Hero so that he hang on, let me mute Flat Out Hero so that he can't interrupt me.
So what that means is that he's actually doing to Flat Out Hero the exact thing that he claims that he won't come on the show for Nathan because of. Now, it means that he hasn't got that argument to hide behind anymore because he does it himself. Now, for whatever reason, he didn't want to be interrupted. Yeah, well, we don't do it for that reason. We do it to make sure that these points, these absolute ball-busting points that we bring up get addressed, that they don't get obfuscated, and that there is closure to the point in hand. So, for example, gas pressure. How do you have a gas pressure without the membrane? So we want that point closing, right? We don't want somebody like Rumpus to start gibberish, utter nonsense, going on and on and on and on, and just disrupting the whole hangout. That's why the mute button's there. The mute button is basically the Rumpus button. And he didn't want to come in because of it. However, he now does it himself, or he does do it himself. So he can't hide behind that anymore if he does it himself, because that would make him a hypocrite. So next time anybody sees Reds going live, make sure you say to him, we've caught you using your mute button the same way that Nathan uses his. You can't hide behind the mute button complaint excuse anymore. Go and debate Nathan. Because the door's open, Reds. You can come in anytime you want. Oh, and by the way, if you do come in, make sure you bring that video with Spurs chemo, the one that you showed Spurs with the buildings on it on the horizon. Yeah, bring that one, because that's the one that I want to talk to you about. So go the open door Reds, the mute button claim. You can forget about that now because you do it yourself. We only do it if you don't answer the questions. Answer the questions and you won't get muted.
We do not want to hear the excuse is a circle jerk and a closed circuit because it's an open hangout. The panel might be full, but if you say in the side chat or contact anybody on private message, say, I want to jump in the show, I am be very happy to drop out for any of you that have anything to for the show. So any drop for you guys, just say it in the chat. You want to join, and we'll drop for you.
Observe the mighty alligator as he stares with his cold gaze at the pathetic stork. Let's have a listen to what the stork is saying.
Your show's not fair. You should debate me on this show where it's more fair for me. You get your big mouth heard while I'm squawking. I'm on special treatment. I'm a special bitch.
Observe the mighty alligator as he stares back at the stork, knowing he will soon eat stork.
So Reds, buddy, bitch, you can't hide behind your mute argument anymore, can you? So why don't you bring that little video in that you showed to Spurs and come on the panel someday? Do it soon, whilst we still remember how relevant your arguments are, because at some point we'll forget about them, and then we'll have to start all over again. Nathan, what do you think?
Well, I think there was quite a lot of kerfuffle with Red's Rhetoric calling me out and me saying there's a daily link published where you can come and join and debate if you want to. I've carved out quite a nice little pool here, and we've got quite a few alligators roaming around the pool with plenty to eat, plenty to talk about, lots to do. And occasionally we get other alligators that join us, you know, the type Alan B or Rumpus, and those alligators come in, and occasionally we'll let them stay in the pond and they play reasonably nicely, and then occasionally they don't, and we have to tear them a new asshole and they run out of the pond and go back to wherever pond they're from. But not only do we have other alligators trying to come into this pond, telling the rest of the pond what's what, we also have another annoying breed of animal that roams around this pond being irritating. That would be storks. They sit on the sidelines and in the comments and they say, you need to come over here and talk to me somewhere else. Just like Red's Rhetoric and just like Conspiracy Flaps. Like, no guys, the only reason you want my attention is because I've got the attention of the people watching right now, right? Well, that's because we've carved out this nice little pond for us alligators to chill in. Now, if you want to come in the pond, we can't stop you, there's no fence. Well, I say there's no fence. Occasionally, YouTube will put a little fence up between us and the main pond, which is why we're currently in this little pond that we're in now. You know, we will still throw your corpses into the main pond. If you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1918, you don't realise that this show goes out on live, as it is now for the people watching, on Nathan Oakley channel. Click on the link. And yeah, because you're currently just watching the corpses get tossed into the main pool. But yeah, we're in this other pool, we're still happy. You know, I've carved out a nice little resort of pools, so we can still keep having our little arguments and discussions with the other alligators. But the storks, yeah, you don't see many storks eating alligators. Quite the contrary. But maybe some of these storks, maybe it's our eyesight, maybe we're mistaking storks for actual alligators. And if they want to crawl into this pool, fight with the other alligators, they're welcome to. The link's published daily. As for me going somewhere else, nah, I've done my time on the debating circuit. I've been to plenty of places and debated plenty of people on their platforms and got annoyed with getting turned down and people muting me and all that crap, and I try and avoid it. Yes, when it's absolutely necessary, as is only expected, that's why there's a mute button on every single Hangout run ever. You have to take control of your Hangout, and I will. This is my show, so I will. As for me sodding off to someone else's platform so they can do that to me, nah, we're the minority. We're the ones that are being told that the consensus view is the Earth is a globe. so it shouldn't be a scary prospect to come into this little pool with us alligators. Until you get Anthony on your back ripping you a new one, and then you want to be terrified of being in this pool, and you want to drag Anthony on his own, or me out on my own, to your pool, where you might have a chance of winning. Well, sod that. If you storks want to flap off into the distance, moaning about mute buttons and how unfair it is in our little pool, nobody's asking you to be here. But if you want to sink into this cool, refreshing water with the rest of us alligators, you can. We might even have a little chit-chat with you. We might chill. It's very nice, this pool. I like it. The people on the panel like it. You might enjoy it too, until you start asserting religious beliefs. Then us alligators here, we don't like those religious beliefs. We'll just munch them. Yum, 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 yum. Gobble them down. Anyway, enough bullshit metaphors about alligators.
I think you should do that num 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 num. You know, that really sadistic, like scary sounding bit. Just apply that somehow to Reds, because it's really sinister when you do it. Because the bottom line is, Reds cannot come in here because he knows he'll get battered. And it's not that he's going to get muted. It's that he can't answer certain questions. It's a little bit like when Sly Sparkane. I went over to Sly's channel, came off Nathan's safety house and safety nest. And I went over there and I predicted that he would not be able to answer a particular question. So when we got all the way through the debate and we got to the point where that question was asked, I got kicked. And the reason why, according to Sly, is that I said that a mirage was real world. We see it. He kicked me because it can't possibly be seen on a sphere because it's way gone behind the curve. Now, bear in mind, this was something that he asked me to go and get from the beach. So I did. So when I did go and get it from the beach and I went to get him and then catch up with him for what he asked me to do, I said that he would kick me the minute we got to this point. We got to that point and he kicked me. It's not okay to say that it's a mirage unless you can prove that it's a mirage. And it's absolutely okay for me to say we see it because it's flat. So here's the thing. I can prove that we can see it from the beach because it's flat. You guys have got to try and argue that it's not actually a thing. It's a mirage. But you can't prove that it's a mirage. And you desperately need it to be a mirage. And we all know it's not. It was compressed. It was there when we expected it to be. And what do you know? You guys could not answer it. I got kicked. So it's true to say that these guys cannot come in here. They will not come in here. But it's not because of the mute button. It's because they've got to answer certain questions and they can't do it. So Reds, you're challenged. Conspiracy Cats, you're challenged. Sly Sparkane, you are also challenged. Reds, you've got to come in at some point because you can't hide behind your mute button complaint anymore. Conspiracy Cats, you've got to explain how it's possible that we could see that mountain from such a far distance away when it all should be behind the curve of the earth. And Sly Sparkane, you've also got to do the same task as Conspiracy Flaps. How is it possible that we can see these mountains from such a distance if there's supposed to be a curve in the way? There's supposed to be a curve that these things drop behind and they can't be seen. So how are you going to fudge the maths on it? What are you going to do? Reds, we'll put the kettle on.
You can have a little poker, Auntie?
Sly Sparkane, Reds Rhetoric, Conspiracy Cats. None of them can debunk the video that Nick Havoc put out with his 132-mile observation of Pikes Peak. Applying the logic and the way they formulated the observation that they did with Rainier and St. Helens, I want them to apply that to the observation of Nick Havoc. And the conclusion will be that it isn't a ball. In fact, it's flat. They can't disprove his video. End of story.
In for a penny. Anyone else want to have a bit of a poke of some crazy zealot globeheads? Feel free, man. Knock yourselves out.
Can I have a second poke? Reds, the mute button claim's gone, mate. When are you going to come in? We won't mute you, provided you don't obfuscate the point. We'll ask you very concise questions, and we'll expect very concise answers, usually yes or no's, black and whites, ups and downs. Really simple questions that are closed. And if you haven't got evidence for your assertion, don't bother coming in, because you're not going to survive. It's that simple. So Reds, buddy, friend, look forward to seeing you soon. Or not, as the case may be.
Okay, Nathan, I'm presenting a picture Travis just posted in Skype.
Yeah, Jose inspired me to go through some of the footage that I had that I just don't take the time to go through, and I have something similar to what he was showing. So.
Cool. Right, that might be my opportunity to round out for a short break. So with that, I will say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible, and of course a massive thank you to all of the audience for tuning in live and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do. Smash that dislike button, but then smash it again. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!